What's up guys, Casey here from All Things Fishing. Thanks for tuning in. What I've got today, another reel review. We're going to be talking about the Daiwa Coastal. So I usually like to keep my reel reviews short and to the point, but let's go ahead and talk about those specs really quick. I'm sure most of you guys already know these. They're boring, but it's important to know. So 15.4 pounds of drag. It's got a deep spool, brass gearing. It's got Daiwa's TWS casting system, and it's got 8 corrosion resistant ball bearings. Got that out of the way. So let's talk about the part that actually matters, and that'll be the determining factor for most of you, I'm sure, on whether or not you should buy this reel. So I'm just going to go ahead and start off from here and work my way across on things that I like, things that I don't. So first up, we've got the 100mm handle. I'm a big fan of oversized cranks. I think it's great for when you're hooking into big fish to have that extra leverage on it. So big fan there. I think that's a good call on an inshore reel. Up next, we've got the drag, 15.4 pounds. Why the 0.4? I think Daiwa realized that they probably could have put more drag in it, and they're making it seem like you've got as much drag as possible. I personally would like to see more drag in this reel, but for throwing for calicos in the surf, 15 is plenty. The only case that I would like a little bit more drag is, if I decide to start going for some yellowtail with this reel off boats and stuff like that, that's when that extra drag would come into play. But 15, that's a good amount of drag. You should be fine with that. But more drag's always better. Up next, we've got that deep spool. When I first got this reel, I was super surprised with how deep that spool actually is. 17-pound test, you're going to hold about 125 yards. So I've got 65-pound test braid on there. I think that equates to like 15-pound test Mondo. But plenty of line capacity, no problem there for bombing baits into the surf. Got plenty of backing on there. So that was a big plus. We also got Daiwa's TWS, their T-wing casting system. That's pretty cool. When you click into free spool, you've got this line guide that opens up to a wider platform, and that just allows line to fly off, on a wider guide, improving castability and whatnot. So I think that's pretty cool. It's a cool, innovative thing by Daiwa. Up next, we've got the magnetic braking system. There's no centrifugals on this reel. It's just the magnetic cast control. So I like centrifugals, but I honestly haven't had any problems with the magnetic system. It keeps the backlashes away, and it's a good way to control. It's got a little dial. You just can click all the way up from, 0 to 20, so you've got a good spectrum of numbers there to work with. Next up, we've got that brass gearing. It's supposed to be a good strong material, corrosion resistant of course. I've noticed it's very smooth when winding in lures and when hooked up to fish. It's a nice smooth performing reel, so that's a good plus there. And lastly, just talk about the bearings. It's got 8 corrosion resistant bearings, so that'll help with, of course, the salt water, not getting those bearings all frozen up. I do recommend that you always rinse your reel when you're done and oil it every once in a while just to keep that corrosion away, because even though they're corrosion resistant, they're not completely corrosion proof. So it's just something to keep in mind. Again, this thing bombs. It's nice and smooth, so those bearings are doing a good job. And I think that's pretty much it, guys. It's a cool little overview of this reel. It's a sweet little blue color. But yeah, overall, if you're going to be throwing lures into the surf, I'd highly recommend this reel. I bought it, pulled the trigger on it, and I have been super happy and super impressed with this. I pair it with an 8-foot swim bait rod, and you could just get those swim baits way out past the breakers and whatnot. So very pleased. Let's go ahead and give you guys a close-up view at how cool this reel is. Let's go.